Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nenad Trajkovski and today I'm going to show you one relatively new product since at the end of the last year, which is called Microsoft Project for the Web. First of all, let me tell you something about me. I'm professional project manager and professional scrum master for years and years. You can see that I have more than 30 years of experience, so that is why they call me a grand pal. But also I am MVP basically for Microsoft Project. Before we start with Microsoft Project, I have to tell you something, and that is Microsoft Project for the Web is not replacement for Microsoft Project Online, for Microsoft Project Server, or for Microsoft Project Desktop in any version. This is the brand new product which is totally different between from Microsoft Project Desktop and Microsoft Project Server, so you should look at it as a totally and completely new product. So now you know what this product is, and we are ready to go with our next slide, which is demo. I'm quitting with all slides. There are all slides. I show you all slides, and now I'm going to show you how Microsoft Project for the Web really works. Here is my Office 365 screen, and from here I will launch Microsoft Project, and I will go to the first and landing page, which will show me all my recent projects, the projects which are shared with me, and the projects which are created by me. Since I don't have any projects yet, I will create a blank new project. When I create blank new project, I will see that the new project has a name untitled project, which doesn't suit me, and I will click here, and I can here change the name, so I will call it, let's say, Project for the Summit. Okay, now you can see that here I can choose email address or project manager, and that will be me, and I can choose also the start date of the project, which will be, in my example, 1st of June. Okay, and for this is now everything what I need to start a new project, and then I have to tell you that in the project screen you have three main parts. It is three main tabs. It is grid, board, and timeline. We are now in grid board, and here I can add tasks. So let's say that I can build a schedule. Let's say that I have two phases of this project, phase 1 and phase 2. I can just start typing. So let's say phase 1, and then I will say first task, second task, third task, and I will say first milestone. And since I want to for my phase 1 to be a summary task, I will just select those subtasks. I will right click and make subtask. Now I will create a new phase 2, and since this phase is under phase 1, which I don't want, I will promote that subtask, so it will go left, and now it is phase as phase 1 is as well, and I will start typing with new tasks. So let's say fourth task, fifth task, sixth task, and second milestone. Okay, now I will make also those tasks as subtasks, and here it is. I have very simple schedule. Now I want to, I have tasks, but to create a schedule, I can do several things. First of all, I need to put duration for each and every task. I can put duration in the duration field in days, like for example 1 day, or I can put in hours, 8 hours, but I will use days, so 2 days, 3 days, and milestone will be 0 because milestone doesn't have duration. My 4 task will have, let's say, 4 days duration, then 3 days duration, then 2 days duration, and then 0. Now I will also create final milestone, which will have a name, project is done. I will promote that subtask and I will put it with 0 duration. Now everything is prepared for creating schedule. I can create schedule in 2 different ways, and I am going to show you that right now. To create a schedule, I can add additional columns. For example, this one which is depends on, and I will also create a column which will be start date and finish date. First of all, let's say that I want for my second task, that the first task is a predecessor. I can do it in several different ways. First of all, I can just type here number 2, which will show me the first task which is here, and I can select it. Or let's say for third task, I can type second, and when I start with typing sec, I will have all tasks which have letter CEC on its name. So in my case, this is second task and second milestone. I need second task. Yes, this is one way, but the easier way for doing that is to go to the timeline. Here in timeline, you can see that all my tasks are shown in Gantt chart, and I can connect them to build a schedule very easy. Let me show you. I want that after first task, after third task, I have a milestone. I will pick the end of third task and I will just drag it to the milestone, and here it is. After that milestone is finished, I want my 4 tasks to start. So I will do the same thing here. And I will continue with doing that to complete my schedule. And now, for the final milestone, I want both milestones, first and second, to be finished. So I will do that. And as you can see, I built my schedule in no time with very easy tool in timeline. And of course, I will see all of that here. So it is very easy to create a schedule in different way. First way is to just start to typing tasks, task names, and select it. Or if you want to visual it, I can do it with timeline view, in which I will see all my tasks and all my predecessors and successor. Not only that, but let's say that third task needs to have different duration. I can just drag here and I can change duration in the screen. So if I select task and drag it, or if which I will show you here, or if I select task and click on it, I can here change the duration. And that is the easy way and the easiest way to make a schedule for your project. And next, we are going to assign some resources, which I'm going to show you right now. To assign resources to the task, I will use Assign To button, and I can go here and I can try, for example, to assign Ellen to the task. Since Ellen is part of, is user of my Office 365, I can simply add her. But before I add the first single resource to any task of the project, I should be aware that I need group. I can create new group and assign Ellen, in my example, to that group, or I can choose group which I already have. And from my perspective, I already created my blog post group, which I use to any post which I write each and every week. So I will use that one, and I will say add and assign. And you can see that Ellen is now assigned to my first task. Of course, I can go here and I will see all resources which are part of my group. So I will, for example, on the second task put John and Mary. For the third task, I will assign Jim and John, etc., etc. And for, let's say, for fourth task, I will assign, let's say, myself. For fifth task, I will assign Ellen again. And for the sixth task, I will assign Mary. That's it. Now I can see that all my tasks have resource, at least one resource assigned to it. That is the easiest way to assign resources, but it doesn't mean that that is the only way. For example, I want to add myself to the 6 tasks. What should I do? I can click on that task and I will see something which is also known as task information. So here, for the 6th task, I can see when is it supposed to start, when is it supposed to finish, what is duration, what is the bucket, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later, and the hours. So 16 hours are here from Mary. Mary should work 2 days, 8 hours per day, and it is 16 hours. If I, for example, select second task, I will see that for those tasks, total effort is 32 hours. What does it mean? It means that since it is 2 days, and John and Mary are going to work on that task 8 hours per day, so John will work 16 hours, Mary will work 16 hours, and total hours are 32 days. Here, of course, I can add additional resource. Let's say I want to add myself. I can do it from here, and you will see now that everything changed because it is 48 hours now, because 3 of us are going to work on the task which has 4 days duration, and it leads us to 48 hours. I can here also put a note, like for example, this is very important task. I can bold it, or I can do whatever I want, so this is just a note. And that is how it's possible to assign resources. Now I'm going to show you what and how can I use buckets. First of all, I'm going to add buckets in column, and you can bucket column, and you can see that all those tasks are in bucket 1. But what are buckets in real life. When I choose Board tab, I will see that I have only one bucket, which is default bucket. Notice that I choose Group by Bucket, and I will use this Group by Bucket screen. So I will say that those tasks here are, let's say, milestones. Here, this is something which I will call development. And I will add third bucket, which will be called, let's say, testing. Now, let's say that sixth task is development, but also first task is development, and the second task is development. Testing is, in my case, third task, fourth task, fifth task, and first task, sorry, and fifth task. First task obviously is not, because I cannot obviously test something which is not developed, and I have now three buckets: milestones, development, and testing. So if I go back to the grid, I will see for each task which where it belongs. So first task belongs to development, second for development, third for testing, and first milestone is for development, which is wrong. So I can go here and say that first milestone is going to be here in milestones, or I can leave it where it is, and I can go to the grid tab, and for the first milestone I can change it for to the bucket of milestones, which will be shown also here. You can see first milestone. So that is the easiest way of doing tasks, sorting tasks in some, whatever suits you the best, in some, let's say, phases or stages or whatever you like. If you are going to use Scrum, you can here put something like product backlog, sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, 4, 5, and so on and so on, and you will have so-called Scrum board inside of the project for the web. But this is not only view which I can see in the board. I told you that I am now using group by bucket, but I can also use group by progress. Here I cannot change, as you can see, or add any column. I here have only one thing, which is called Kanban board. And what does it mean? I have three columns. First column is not started. Here are tasks which are not started. Here are tasks which are in progress, and here are tasks which are completed. So how can I manage my progression of my project and each and every task? That is something which I am going to show you next, and that is how to track our project. First of all, I can track my project, my tasks, in grid view. I can simply go here, add column, put percentage of complete, and I can here put, let's say, 50%. If I put 50%, I will, in graphic indicator, I will see that that this task is 50% finished, and the 4 hours are left, and the total percentage of completeness of my project is of my summary task is 6%. I can do that in much better way than just put here, let's say, for example, 100%. I can go here, let's say in second task, I can open task details, and I will see everything about my tasks. I will see that this is my second task, then John, Mary, and me, we are supposed to work on that task. What is scheduled start date, finish date, duration. Let's say that John, Mary, and me completed just, let's say, 24 hours, or let's say 32 hours. If I put 32 hours here, and if I hit enter key, I will see that the total hours is still 48 hours and remaining hours are 16. So 64% of this task is completed. Or I can say, okay, I completed 32 hours, but I need 40 hours more, which will be 72 hours, and then my duration will be extended and percentage of complete will be decreased. So what I want to say is that I can simply track progress of the project by putting percentage of complete or real hours which are completed and which real hours which are remaining. And in that case, I will see how many hours do I need in total, and also how many hours remain. So let's say that I want to put that this is completed 40 hours and we need 40 hours more, so it will be 80 hours in total for 6.11 days, because 3 of us are going to work, and this is 50%, this task is 50% completed. And this is also very good way to how to, and this is the more complex but more detailed way of tracking task progress. And when I track task progress, also I can see the progress in the timeline view. And this is shown here, that this is 50% completed. I can also here go to the my task detail form, and I can put here, let's say it is 100% completed, and then 80 hours will be calculated as completed, and also because the task is 100% completed, the remaining hours will be set to 0. Nevertheless, let's go to the board. You can see that first task and second task are completed, and when they are completed, they are moved automatically from not started or in progress to completed. Let me show you on let's say third task. If I move third task from not started to in progress, then automatically this task will be marked as 50% completed, which can be changed, of course, here to, let's say, 75% completed. But when I hit here 75% completed, it will be marked as 75% completed. But if I here say, oh, it is not completed at all, it is 0%, it will be moved back to the not started, because task with 0% of completed cannot be in progress. So either way, I can go to my, let's say, third task and put here that it is 10% completed, and it will be moved to the in progress, or I can just for example, move one task from not started to in progress, and then it will be marked as 50% completed, which can be changed. But let's say that my first task is 100% completed. If I hit enter, it will be marked as done. You can see this strike through through the name, and it will be also automatically moved to the completed column in the bucket. So that is how we can also track progress, and I can just move it here and it will be marked as 100% completed. And this is also the good way of how you can track your progress. From easiest way, from here, when you will put 100% or 30% completed, through the task detail form, which I showed you, that you can put how many hours were completed, remain, and remains, or and total hours will be calculated, or using the board with moving tasks from not started to in progress and to completed. Last but not least, what about calendars and calendar templates? That is something which I'm going to show you, and that is something for which I will use Dynamics 365 or PowerApps, whichever suits you better. Last but not least, since I can talk about Microsoft Project Dynamics 365 and PowerApps for days, but I only have a half an hour, I will show you how this project is connected with PowerApps or Dynamics 365. When I click on Dynamics 365 and I choose the Project tab or Project Application, I will see here all my project. Here is project for Summit. I can from here also create new project, or just go and look my project for the Summit, and I will see that I am project manager, which is total effort hour, how many hours are completed, etc., etc. And of course, I can go and see all my resources. In those resources, I can not only see which resources do I have, but I can also see the calendar or working time. So let's say that I'm going to work with gym. If I select gym and I go to show work hours, I will see that gym is supposed to work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. work days. Where does it come from? I will show you how can I create different weekly schedule. I can here select from which date I want this weekly schedule, which time zone am I in, will my project be in, which days are going to be work days, for example, from Monday to Saturday, and also I can choose from let's say from 9 to 5, or let's say from 9 to 12, that my resource is going to work. Let's say not 9:30, that was mistake, from 9 to 5. And if I say okay, it will be set like that. So for each and every resource, I can have different working hours, which are going to be shown here. And of course, for the whole project, I can have also template, which can be seen here in settings. When I go to settings, so once again, I was in projects, now I'm going to settings, and I want to choose calendar templates, and you will see that I have project weekly template from 9 to 5, and then that I am using some resource which has working hours from 9 to 5. So I can set up the calendar template for the whole project here in settings in calendar templates, and for each resource I can also in project choose which working hours, which calendar he or she will work on, which are also days off, etc., etc. So it is tightly connected. And by the way, last thing, when you have multiple calendar templates here, like for example, this is the default, which comes by default, and this is I created from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. from Monday to Friday. When you have your new project, you can see, sorry, that was a mistake. I will go to the project for the Summit, and you can see very easy that I'm using this default working template or project week day template. So when you create a project, you can choose which calendar template you are going to use, and according to that, all your start and end dates are going to be set. So that is the easiest way how to set your calendars, and for the whole project, and for specific resources using Dynamics or PowerApps, as you can see here, in through resources. Of course, there's much more, and there is much more to come for Microsoft Project for the Web, because Microsoft is extending those functionalities week by week, I will say day by day, and if you will stay connected with this application, you will see something new each and every week. So maybe, and I'm sure, not maybe, but for 100% sure, that when this video was recorded, and this is, as you can see, 19th of May, and when you are going to watch it, that will be much more new functionalities. I love Microsoft Project for the Web because it is much easier to use this Microsoft Project Online. It doesn't have all functionalities because it is not copy-paste for the Microsoft Project Server or Project Online, and it can be very easy use for managing projects in the future, lightweight projects, but also more complicated. Thank you very much, and if you have any questions, just ask Spence and guys, and make a QA in every way you want, and I will make sure that all answers, that you will get all answers. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.
Thank you for being a part of the Galactic Collaboration Summit. Join the community and meet in-person world-class Microsoft and MVP speakers this autumn in Wiesbaden, Frankfurt, Germany, with 15 full-day tutorials and over 150 Microsoft 365 and Azure sessions at the combined European Collaboration Summit and European Cloud Summit from 26 to 28 October 2020. Community rocks.